Alright folks, today's video in my series on online cancellation and how to fight back is a little bit different. I find that when making legal claims in an online media environment, it's sometimes helpful to understand how the internet works so that we can then identify the correct target within the internet technology stack. In this section, we'll discuss the plumbing of the internet and how to use IP law to stop attacks at various points within this plumbing. So first, let's define some terms. First, a domain. A domain is the basic URL of your site, the www. There are nuances, but this is sufficient for our discussion now. A domain turns the IP address of the computer where your content resides into a convenient word that can go into a search bar. For instance, if you want to access Google search, you can type in www.google.com into a search bar, or you could type in 172.217.19.164. That's the IP address of a Google server, and that address resolves to the Google homepage. The first, google.com, is the domain. The latter is the IP address. The domain name is said to resolve to the IP address, meaning it points your computer to the same network resource. However, somewhere, somebody has to keep a list matching up all the convenient words to all the numbered addresses of all the computers. This matching list gets complicated. And here is a place in the technology chain where we can weaponize nuisance to help take down things we don't like. For instance, when I work to take down content a client does not like, I can assert takedown rights all up and down the technology chain at the DNS level and above. DNS is the domain name system. This is the basic translator that translates words to the address. There are many DNS servers around the internet, and we have ways to identify the DNS server that primarily services a site hosting your content or content that is infringing your rights. Many sites use a well-known online service to provide an authoritative name server to ensure that no bad actors try to hijack the site through a DNS-based attack. Now, if the infringing material is bad enough, or the things the cancel mob is doing to your business is of sufficient offensiveness, we can send legal takedowns to the authoritative name server that helps guard the website of the bad actors. Now, this discussion of intermediaries is only limited to those intermediaries matching the name to the number. There are more effective attack vectors as we go up the chain to other entities such as the hosting provider. Hosting provider is the person or institution that has the server where the content actually resides on a memory device. Again, if the content is bad enough, we can attack and send a takedown letter, and usually hosting providers are quite rapid in response to takedown letters to delete the infringing content. Now, there's a certain type of website, commonly a social media site, sometimes web forums, living inside the hosting provider. This type of website has special legal protections, but also, just like the hosting provider, this type of website has to respond very quickly to DMCA takedown requests. We can also attack by going after the website owner, sending a DMCA takedown request mentioned in the earlier sections. This too is a very effective approach. But suppose that individual takedowns are not useful because there are simply too many members of the mob, or the negative invigorating effect of a few takedowns would backfire. We then need to exercise different effective legal countermeasures. My next segment will talk about this. We'll talk about not the law as a weapon, because very often for mob behavior, traditional takedown tools that might target in a specific way individual offensive trolls is ineffective. We will talk about countermeasures to ameliorate the platform level impact of mob behavior.